Question is that the motion be agreed to. The Honourable Willow-Jean Prime.
Tēnā koe te māngai o te whare. This is a travesty. Let the record show that tonight or tomorrow, when this bill ultimately passes, that political ideology has driven this repeal, and that vulnerable children, vulnerable Māori children, will be the ones who pay the price. Let the record show all of our descendants who in this whare supported the repeal of the provisions to ensure the implementation of the principles of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. Let the record show who is supporting that. Let the record show who supports removing the legal obligation, statutory requirement of the Chief Executive of Oranga Tamariki to have policies and practices that reduce disparities for Tamariki Māori. Let the record show, let the history books show these Tamariki who could be the subject of a future Royal Commission into abuse in state care, because this is the very sort of thing that the Royal Commission that we recently had inquired into and reported on. And here we are in this House tonight repealing a section of the Oranga Tamariki Act that was put in place to address the very issues that that Royal Commission has reported on. The Minister said she is proud. Shame on her. This has been her political agenda from the day she arrived in Parliament, and tonight, tomorrow when it passes, finally gets her opportunity to pass law that is based on political ideology and no empirical evidence. And she makes no apology. So let our mokopuna know who it was who did this to them. To them, not for them, to them. Now, the first thing I want to start with is to quote a survivor of abuse in state care. Tupua Erlich spoke about the damage caused to him by being removed from his whānau and culture, saying that it is going to take generations to undo that harm. So when the government turns around and fails to acknowledge our rights, it's like another stab in the back. What I will remember, Mr. Speaker, is a minister who was so disrespectful that she would not front before the Waitangi Tribunal to provide our experts with the evidence that supports why this policy is needed in the first place. So disrespectful, so close-minded, already knew what it was that she wanted to achieve. What I will also remember is a weak and desperate for power Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, leader of the National Party, agreed in the coalition agreement to repeal Section 7AA. That was something that the last national government put into law. Means absolutely nothing. Totally disrespectful to his colleagues and tolly to the previous government. Anything is up for grabs. Desperate for power. Weak. What I will also remember, Mr. Speaker, is these words from the officials. Now, the Minister last night in the committee stage talked about a few cases that she believes provides the evidence to repeal this entire section, which is going to have huge impacts for Tamariki Māori, who make up 2/3 of the care and protection system. And you know what they said about the cases that she raised? Oranga Tamariki notes that there is no empirical evidence to support the notion that Section 7AA has driven practice decisions that have led to changing in care arrangements. Her own officials telling her there is no empirical evidence to support the cases that she is using to justify this case. Closed-minded, doesn't care, never cared from the beginning. But Mr. Speaker, what I really want to focus on in this contribution is the fact that everybody in this House, the Minister and everybody that is still in the House tonight, are on notice. We have all been warned in the regulatory impact statement right from the beginning of this debate and this journey that the Minister talks about, that there is a risk that this will do real harm to Tamariki Māori. It's not just an academic conversation that the Minister thinks that we are having. This is from experts, this is from people with lived experience, this is from our strategic Māori partners and providers who are at the front line, this is from our health professionals, our social workers, so many submitters, majority of the submitters, who said there will be adverse impact on holistic well-being when Tamariki and rangatahi Māori are alienated and disconnected from their culture. And the issues that they have highlighted, now listen up, it will be an increased risk to physical, mental, psychological, cultural and social distress due to the shift away from prioritising familial connections, identity, cultural understanding and care placements, practice approaches and access to appropriate cultural supports. That disconnection from whakapapa, whānau, identity, language has serious and long-lasting negative impacts on tamariki and rangatahi Māori, including intergenerational trauma. Why would anybody inflict that on a vulnerable Māori child, an innocent Māori tamaiti? Why would anybody agree to that in the House tonight? How can you all sleep at night, is my question to you. Mr. Speaker, as I have said, there is no evidence to support this. This is all political ideology. There was no consultation. This impacts only Māori children. No consultation with Māori. No consultation with strategic partners. Not a single strategic partner supported this repeal. It is a clear breach of te tiriti or Waitangi, as identified by officials, as also found by the Waitangi Tribunal, and the reports all say that this will cause harm. In my final time that I have, Mr. Speaker, the other thing that will always sit with me from this process has been those who took the time to make submissions on this bill. They poured everything they had into their submissions. As I mentioned at second reading, grown men crying in front of the Select Committee because of the impact they know that this will have. But the other one I wanted to highlight was the mama, who themselves grew up in state care, who have suffered from that disconnection to their culture, who are raising their own children while they are trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together for themselves and raise their next generation, and e tangi hotu hotu ana te manawa o wera mama mō wā rātou tamariki. We saw it with survivors of abuse in state care presenting before our committee. They told us the impact that this will have. We saw it from the mama telling us the impact it's had on them and for their pepe. And yet here we are tonight, none of that mattered. It's still going to be repealed anyway. Shame on all of you.
Yep.
I forgot Karen actually refused to appear in front of the Waitangi Tribunal. I actually forgot that. But now I'm remembering how the fact she, it got taken to court, she got taken to court over it.
Yeah, I mean, you can see why I lost my shit during the second reading when we went over this. Having read the regulatory impact statement only an hour before the show, I was so fucking amped up because, the regulatory impact statement, as I keep posting in the chat, it's showing that Oranga Tamariki's Section 7AA is actually keeping kids out of foster care. And by repealing it, more kids are going to go into foster care.
100%.
Yeah. So, I completely agree with Willow-Jean over here. Did I get her name right? Shit. I think I got her name right. Sorry if I got your name wrong. But I agree with her.
Does she watch the show?
Yeah. I mean,
I think Camilla Bellich probably does now, or sometimes, or something.
Sorry, I got dyslexia. Sometimes the words are back to front for me. But yes, human. I totally agree with what she said.
I think, because I was invited to go to the Royal Commission with the gangs actually in Manukau City and Tamaki Makaurau. And so if we really look back and historically with the state care, it's what created the gangs because of the safety and the protection wasn't adhered to or tiriti or Waitangi. So we've already known that that's going to cause harm because we've got that now and it's trickled down for generations, right? We're already suffering as people. All of us are suffering as people together. Yes, and what's happening from there. So why are you trying to go back and dictate that? And to me, it's kind of dictation because she's saying, this is the last time I'm going to discuss this. Well, look, mate, you came into Parliament to discuss and debate and do things like this. You can't just throw your toys out of the cot when you're getting found out to be wrong. And again, where are these magical reports? Where are they coming from? And again, using Māori to create a barrier, and they're causing a racist war when there isn't even one to be there with. What's good for Māori is good for everybody. We're kaitiaki of our elements in the land and people also. We want to be working together and take care of people as well. But I don't hear that from that at all. And again, she's not, I'll say, immersed and she hasn't lived in Te Ao Māori. She doesn't really have identity or to her roots. So again, it's like me speaking on behalf of Sam. It's just not.
It's like,
if you want to, you can talk about Richard Truman's world's first steam engine. That's who I'm a descendant from.
Okay.
As in the family name was up that until the last generation, where the 5 sisters all got married, took their husband's last name and had children, and the one son didn't have any kids or got married.
See, and
Yeah.
I love this, Sam. I just learned so much about you, and even when you speak with it, you've got that
Trains.
pride. You've got that sort of that aroha in your heart because you know where you came from. What if everybody got to have that beautiful koha given back to them as well, to know
Yeah.
are, you know?
Yeah, I know what the dumbasses are going to say. They're like, oh, but Maori have special gravy trains that they go choo choo on, and it's like, it's like, no, we don't. We actually don't. We had our shit taken away from us by the crown. That's what happened, and now we can't produce goods to sell on the market, so we have no money, and so we end up doing crime and go to prison.
Here's a comment from Phoenix and Ashes. Holding people to account is everyone's right, and bless you for fighting for everyone.
Yes.
Who's that directed to? All of us.
So that's come from TikTok. Phoenix, Phoenix, Ashes, and Co.
Oh, thank you so much, Phoenix. I mean that with my heart because, I mean, in any community and a collective, isn't that what we all want? Don't you want your kids to go to school together, know who they are, be fed, have a happy environment, and be accepting of each other? Again, we can't all come to the table with a glass of water. We'll go free.
Oh,
I don't want to starve. Okay, I can't do that. I like to eat, as you can tell. So Sam, just not going to cut it for me.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok.